guys, it's been so long. We have so much to tell you. I want you to come in and meet somebody first.
Hey guys! Oh my gosh, it's been so long. Let me go ahead and get him down for his nap and I'll come downstairs. We have so much to catch up on.
Guess who's back? Back again. Guess who's back?
Brandon's back.
The Goldens are back.
Tell a friend.
Go.
Hey guys, so you're probably wondering where the heck we've been for the last 2 years. Our whole purpose of filming, I guess, was to kind of keep
Everybody in the loop.
everybody in the loop that needed to be in the loop or wanted to be in the loop, and kind of to keep like a video journal for ourselves in our journey. Things got super crazy, super fast, and life happened. The last you saw us
2 years ago.
2 years ago, we had just done our first round of IVF and had our miscarriage.
Right.
Lots has happened since then.
We did our second round of IVF.
Which we got pregnant. Woohoo! And then we had a miscarriage. So, to say the least, it was an emotional roller coaster. At that point, we had officially had 3 miscarriages. So, wow, when you do that, it looks like more. Okay, so at that point we had officially had 3 miscarriages, so we could have the reoccurring miscarriage blood work.
Correct.
Which we did. And through that learned that I had, oh geez, now technical medical terms, I had antiphospholipid thrombophilia, which apparently is a blood clotting disorder. Therefore, our miscarriages were basically my body seeing it as something foreign and doing what you normally want your body to do when it finds something foreign.
Blood clotted it away.
Blood clotted away. However, this time we didn't want it to do that. So all 3 of our miscarriages were due to my body clotting them away. So needless to say, like as much time and effort and money as we had put into it, finding out that like my body was the one that was kind of destroying it sucked. Sucked. Women, let's be serious. I secretly hoped it was him that was the problem. It wasn't.
Nope.
It was me. So at that point, emotionally just drained, financially drained.
Emotionally drained.
I just said that.
How did you?
But we were double emotionally drained.
Yeah.
We decided to take a break. At that point,
We tried on our own.
So my mom called me and said, hey, the radio station that we all listen to in the morning is giving away IVF for free. What's it gonna hurt? You might as well try. Just fill out an application and maybe you'll get lucky. Why not? So we did. And we were in the top 10? Top 10 finalists. And there was a voting process and we were excited and this was it. This was our chance. Why would we make it this far and not win? Like,
Right.
it has to be. This has to be it. And we didn't win.
Wah, wah, wah.
It was disappointing. It was like another setback in our journey. We thought this was it. This was our reason. We had to temporarily switch doctors for the contest, so we did. And while we were there, he took me off of the steroids I had been on for a while. And I dropped 20 pounds like that. That was the easiest 20 pounds.
It was like 30.
Wow, 30 pounds like that.
There you go.
Easiest 30 pounds I ever lost. But once we were no longer in the contest, we mutually agreed that we wanted to go back to what over the last couple of years had felt like home to us. We knew the doctors, we knew the nurses.
We knew everybody.
We knew everybody. We tried to get our finances back in order. We decided there was no way we could bring our family up in the apartment that we were in. So we decided we were going to start trying to look for a house. Brandon went to... Did you go in the emergency room that time?
Couple of times.
Couple of times.
Couple out of state.
Couple out of state, couple in state, you know. And he ended up having his gallbladder removed. I promise you we're getting to the point of all of this. He had his gallbladder removed. You were home. It was the day before you were supposed to have your staples removed.
Mm-hmm.
And I found a house. Not great timing. But I found a house and it was great and it was everything we wanted. It was the newer home that Brandon wanted with the charm that I wanted. And we called the realtor and we said, we need to see this house. So he said, how about tomorrow? And I said, well, Brandon here has to have staples removed. So that's like at 11. Can we make it like 12? Needless to say, Brandon popped a couple extra pain pills and I don't even think saw the upstairs of the house.
You said, here, Brandon, take your vitamins.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did.
You're so full of crap. So Brandon took a couple extra pain pills. Did you see the upstairs of the house?
Nope.
Nope. And we did sit on it for a couple days and thought about it for a couple days until the pain meds wore off. And we put our offer in. And we are now in our dream home.
Yeah.
Tinky, did you find the stairs?
The last 2 years.
The last 2 years. Ah. So we went from being financially stressed out to adding to it and buying a house. Because, I mean, that's what you do, right?
Right.
Right. So we were good. We were happy with how things were. We were in our house. Things were going to happen in God's time. They weren't going to happen in our time. We were still trying on our own, and for the first time in our entire marriage, we got pregnant. And we were shocked. And we started the blood thinners that I needed to start to maintain the pregnancy, and my numbers started going crazy. They were doubling and then they stopped doubling, and extremely long, drawn out story short, it ended as an ectopic pregnancy. So our miracle pregnancy of us finally getting pregnant on our own without having to pay a ton of money ended up costing a ton of money.
Yeah.
And we had to end the pregnancy. So we took another break and tried to figure out what to do. Well, I say break, but we really didn't.
I mean, we started to talk about adopting.
We did. We started talking about adopting, and we couldn't figure out how to do it. I couldn't figure out where to start. I couldn't figure out who to contact. I couldn't figure out...
And then I thought about it. I don't know if you did, but I thought about adopting overseas.
Which was more money, and it still isn't guaranteed. So
And I did research, and it did say that it was going to cost like $30,000.
so anyways, so we looked into adoption, couldn't figure it out, got frustrated, decided that maybe we could try to make IVF work again. Now that we knew about the blood clotting, maybe it would work. We didn't know. So we went to meet with our fertility doctor and sat down with him and told him the situation we were in. Like, we want to do it again. We're scared to do it again. We just want something that's going to work. We had discussed with him doing IVF again. He was crunching some numbers for us and said that our nurse wanted to see us and say hi because we hadn't seen her for a couple months. So we went and sat down and talked to her, and it was the same conversation. It was, we just want a baby. We don't care how we get a baby. We've tried to adopt.
And you said, make me a guinea pig.
Make me a guinea pig. You have to have something laying around here that'll get me a baby. And she looked at us and smiled and said,
Funny you should say that.
Funny you should say that. Give me a minute. So she went and talked to our doctor, and they came back and said that they were in the trial phase of something new. And we looked at each other and we said, okay, what's that? And they said they were starting embryo donation or an embryo adoption program. We didn't know what it was, so we were confused because we had done plenty of research trying to get pregnant for the last 5 years. So she explained it to us as
an embryo adoption.
Well, couples who have done IVF, who have had pregnancies, who have been successful, who have children, who no longer want the remaining of their embryos. When we had done IVF, we had signed papers that in the event that something happened to us, or our marriage, or there's all sorts of legalities, what we wanted to be done with our embryos, donated to science, destroyed, and these couples were given the option to have them adopted out. She looked at us and said, I know it's a lot to take in, but you'd still get to be pregnant. I'll give you guys a couple of days. I looked at Brandon and he did that.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So we told her we were interested. We told her we wanted to do it. We wanted to go through with it, keep us posted, let us know what was going on. And it was probably a couple days later, she called and she wanted me to come in for my normal monitoring, check my levels, make sure everything was good. And we were in for the contest with the contest doctor. They had stopped these steroids, which then made my progesterone elevated again. So we had to get my progesterone leveled back out. And she said she would be emailing us the information with the donor, how do you even say it? Donor information sheets? Donor
sheets?
The embryo donor sheets?
Yeah.
I don't know, something like that. At any rate, it was the night before Thanksgiving.
Was it really?
Yeah, it really was.
Wow.
It was the night before Thanksgiving. She emailed us all of the donor embryo information sheets. And how do you pick? Like, how do you pick which ones are going to be your babies, if that makes sense? And I didn't want to pick it for, like, I didn't want to be the one to pick it, and I didn't want Brandon, like, I wanted us to collectively pick it, but I didn't want to persuade each other either on why we picked the ones we were going to pick.
Right.
So I said, I'm going to take these sheets, you take these sheets, we're going to read them over, and you make your decision, we'll swap. You make your decision, I'll make mine, and then we'll discuss which ones we want and why. Well, we both read them over, we hemmed and hawed for like 2.5 seconds, and I was like, okay, this is 1, 2, 3. Which ones do you want? And we both wanted the same embryos. So basically the sheets and the information that we got were like a Match.com profile, kind of.
Well,
They were kind of like a Match.com profile.
Yeah, kind of.
It was height, weight, ethnicities, hair color, eye color,
hobbies,
occupations.
That was it.
I mean, what they had been tested for genetically. The embryos had all been genetically tested, so we knew that the embryos were genetically sound for a transfer. And all of the embryos, like all of the donors for the embryos, were Caucasian. We picked them because the female donor sounded the most like me, appearance-wise. Same hair color, eye color, ethnicities, height, weight. Well, when I was 25, I weighed that. I don't weigh that anymore. I don't weigh that anymore. We picked our embryos, and we emailed our nurse with our selection, and set up for the next cycle to go in and get the ball rolling. In essence, it was just a frozen embryo transfer. It was just like one of our IVF transfers. Way cheaper.
A lot cheaper.
Way cheaper. And it was the perfect solution for us. We didn't care. I guess we should explain what an embryo donation is. We didn't care if they were genetically our children. I mean, we had been looking into adoption. So genetically,
they weren't going to be our
children. Like, genetically, they weren't going to be our children, but in every other way, they are our children. We signed adoption papers for them. We signed all of the legal papers we needed to sign. And we didn't care. We didn't care about adopting. We were okay with adopting. But in the back of my mind, being a woman, like, the thought of never being able to be pregnant sucked. Like, I wanted to, even if it was awful, like, even if it was painful and I was miserable, I wanted to have that experience. So this was going to allow me to still be pregnant. We knew the blood clotting issue was an issue. However, we still hadn't ruled out if genetically Brandon and I could have children. We don't know if any of our embryos genetically were ever strong enough to survive. We know I had the blood clotting issue, but we don't know. And it was a crapshoot. We could have spent all of that money again to do IVF and could still be sitting here without a baby. So, the way I explain it to people, I was basically a surrogate that got to keep the baby. Right? Or you can say it was a sperm donor and an egg donor.
Right.
Right.
And, yeah.
Right? Yeah, right. So that was that. We were set to start monitoring. We were set to do the transfer. And that's where we're going to leave you today. Dun, dun, dun.
It's so glad to be back, though, isn't it?
You're so glad to be back.
Yeah, to do that.
It is. Because this is our story, and that was why we wanted to do this.
Right.
Everybody can learn from somebody's story.
Right.
And
we
honestly,
wanted to get that out there, that there's other...
Well, right, I had never heard of an embryo adoption, embryo donation, however you want to word it.
I never have either.
I had never heard of it. And most people we tell about it has never heard of it. So, not to say it's for everybody, obviously, but it's another option. It's another option to think about. It's another option to take, possibly. And it was what worked for us. Or did it? You'll have to wait to see. Until next time.